Hello everyone, welcome back to this series of Understanding Men, and for the men, understanding the ladies. Equally, we had such an incredible response, not only for the fellow sisters out there, but from my fellow brothers. And thank you so much, because it helps us give value to what it is that you want. Well, this is not just a video, it's a discussion. It's a tribe here where you're in a safe environment, we can all interact. Feel free to join me on my Instagram channel. That's where a lot of my questions were asked. And feel free to direct message me there. Today, the topic is understanding intimacy for true, guaranteed, deep connection. Now, this is for both parties. Men's questions were based on performance anxiety, how to show up in the bedroom, not to have performance anxiety, to be fully present. And for women, how they can show up in their bedroom feeling more sensual, bringing that sensuality into the bedroom to have the intimacy with their significant. So without further ado, allow me to take you to the interview with the ridiculously knowledgeable, amazing David Perry. Hi, David.
Hi.
Are you excited?
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, so am I. Thanks for joining for this new episode on the topic of relationships. We had amazing feedback on the video, which we were just really thrilled about. And the new question and topic today is the commonality between all the questions, male and female, that I have filtered and put together for your questions to be answered. So the question today, David, is how can one show up in the sensuality of themselves into the bedroom? For females have an issue with this, and males equally in performance. So what is your intake? What the wisdom of David?
Okay, so the key word here is performance. And so so many times people can get hung up on performance. It's a pressure. It's like, I need to be an adequate lover. I need to be good enough. I need to be able to please my partner. There's some merit to that. Obviously, because we care about our partner, we want to give them a pleasurable sexual experience. When that becomes the most important thing, then there's problems. And then what happens is we get in our head about it. And, sexual intimacy, physical intimacy is an embodied experience. At least it's intended to be. Stimulate a man's genitals, his body will respond. Unless, it's a natural thing. It's going to respond to that stimulation. However, what can happen is the mind can take over and kind of put a block on that. And that's because we get caught up in performance. Unless there's some sort of trauma-based involved where they've shut that off. That would take some professional support to work through that. Trauma can affect sexual performance. But let me just address the whole thing. I need to please my partner. I need to be a good lover. I need to please them. That can cause stress on a man, and he can get so excited or so stressed out about he wants to be a good lover that he can lose his erection. So, but for men, it can be an overemphasis on performance.
Yeah.
So let's break it down just a little. So first off, for the men, if a woman is willing to allow you to enter into her body and be close to you that way, you're already accepted. She's already decided within herself that you're pleasurable. She said, I want to accept you. I want you. Technique, we get caught up in technique. And so if we're concerned about pleasing our partner, the biggest thing that you can do is to be curious about your partner's experience of you. Now, I understand that this biggest thing you can do is to be curious about when you move or when you touch or what actually is pleasing to your partner. And so you can ask, babe, does this feel good? Sweetheart, does this feel good? Do you like this? And you're going to have to set your ego aside. I mean, in our first video we talked about pornography and how pornography presents this false perception or this false representation of sexuality. We have to get real with ourselves and with our partners about what's real for us on a personal level and what pleases us and what works and what doesn't. And the only way that we're going to know is by establishing what I call a sexual dialect between partners.
Yeah, very important.
So I'll give you an example. In SeaWorld here in the United States in Southern California, they brought in 2 killer whales. One was from the Atlantic Ocean. The other one was from the Pacific Ocean. These killer whales spoke different dialects. So it's like taking someone who's French and someone who's, I don't know, Japanese, putting them in the same room and expecting them to cohabitate and interact and relate. Well, these whales ended up developing their own dialect. And that's what needs to happen in relationship. That's what you do in relationship around sexuality. You do it already in communication. You develop your little cute little words or names that you call yourselves. Hi, honey pie, sweetie, what's up, stud, whatever. Words of endearment. You develop your own little cute little language within your relationship. You get your inside jokes. And this actually can get translated or transferred into the bedroom when it comes to physical intimacy in learning your partner. And the key to this is to be curious. Be curious about your partner's response. Listen with your hands as you caress your partner or touch your partner, or with your body. Be mindful of their response. And the other thing is shifting your focus from being performance-oriented to being connection-oriented.
Yes.
So when we talk about emotion, yes, high five. So when we talk about sexual intimacy, healthy sexual intimacy is actually an expression of what already exists in an intimate and emotionally, mentally, and spiritually intimate relationship. You're bringing that into sexual pleasure and sexual physical connection.
Absolutely.
So curiosity is the key. It's the same thing like when you get to know somebody, you go on a date. Like, well, what's your favorite color? Where's your favorite restaurant? What kind of food do you like to eat? What kind of music do you like to drink? The same kind of curiosity and getting to know someone personally, you want to take that into the bedroom with your partner and get to know them sexually.
Absolutely.
And not have these expectations.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to not have expectations. But if you can practice being curious and focus on being curious and learning about your partner, and let that curiosity fuel a deeper level of connection, be a driver for deeper connection and intent to be more deeply connected with your partner, you'll find that you'll have great success in your relationship in the bedroom, or wherever you choose to make love.
The women, and I speak from the female aspect, to show up in their sensuality of themselves. There's first an acceptance of themselves. So many women I know and have spoken to and have helped want the light off in the bedroom, completely in darkness, to have their intimate moment with their partners, with their significant others. And it is robbing both yourself and your partner of an ultimate experience. So unless, ladies, you learn to accept yourself, your sensuality is a result of the decision to put yourself first in the celebration of the wholeness that you are. And that is accepting yourself. You give out so much through the day, I know, with family, in the office, whether you work for yourself, whether you work for someone, you're giving. Then at the end of the day, when your significant other wants you, you have nothing to give. You don't feel right within yourself. Can you look at yourself in the mirror and admire your curves, admire your wrinkles, admire yourself in total. But when you learn to do that is when you can show up proudly in the wholeness of who you are, in your sensuality in the bedroom. So important. And when you do, take off those flannel pajamas. Put something sexy on. Go out and treat yourself. Something to make you feel sexy, to fuel that sensuality that you are, and show up proudly. Fine, don't have supermarket lighting on. No one likes supermarket lighting. Set the mood. Have lighting though. Allow your significant other to enjoy you. A man is visual, am I right, David?
Yes, they are. But the thing is too, is like, even though we are visually stimulated, yes, we are visually oriented. And I just want to say that sexiness is also a state of mind. I've seen many a woman who, she may not look like, supermodel, but she exudes a sexuality. And what does that sexuality come from? It comes from her confidence in herself.
Yes.
And, she could be what we would call clinically overweight, maybe not morbidly obese, but she could be clinically overweight and still be incredibly sexy because she's standing in her confidence. A woman stands confidently in her feminine.
Yes.
And she recognizes and embraces her sexual being. There's a signal that goes out. There's an energy that emanates that can just captivate men.
Absolutely. It's your confidence, the acceptance of yourself that exudes that confidence, that sexuality, because you show up like that everywhere, whether in the office, you're confident, anywhere, but in the bedroom, oh my God, it can blow your man away.
Right. It's the same for women, right? Women love a confident man.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And when a man sees a woman who's confident in her sexuality, in her womanhood.
Yes.
And how can men support that? How can men make their women step into that? Is to really, really appreciate them and express their appreciation. We need some affirmation in relationships.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we need some reassurance.
Absolutely.
Reassurance is a big deal, especially when we're talking about sexual intimacy and confidence. Sometimes men need to be reassured that they are enough.
Yes.
Like
women
and
do.
the same thing.
Yes.
And women do as well. That's right.
Yeah.
So if we can do that, we can practice that. And also that can really help a woman feel sexy is when she feels supported. This is something that I've learned.
Yes, so true.
The other piece that I want to mention is speed. Guys, we need to slow down. We need to really
listen up, men. This is a point. This is a point, a valid point for women. A lot of women, now I'm just going on the basis of some of the questions. The reason why a lot of women say no, one, because they're so tired at the end of the day, the man go on top and off he goes, like a sewing machine, like a rabbit. Bam, it's over. Not enjoyable for the woman. It's not intimacy. It's a matter of, it's not about the release. It's about the connection, as you mentioned, David, right?
Right.
Everything in between of connecting, feeding each other, the communication, the foreplay.
Women always, one of the main complaints I've heard over time has been, what he wants to do is just go at it and then he's done and then he rolls over, he falls asleep.
Yeah.
So the importance of foreplay, the buildup, right? So it's about establishing rapport and literally getting into the mood to create that sexual intimacy. And that means spending time in conversation and connection, in loving touch, maybe a massage, and checking in, how was your day? And then moving into maybe some cuddling, taking your time. Guys, they're your partner. It's not like they're going anywhere. There's no need to rush. You're going to get the cookie, So the bottom line is take it slower. Look, you just learn to slow it down. Man, your bodies. You know how to manage. You slow it down. One of the reasons why men may want to be fast or be quick is that they may feel some discomfort in the vulnerability that sexuality requires. And so they, they go for they speed up a quick physically intense experience of pleasure, which is, it's very difficult for some men to tolerate that level of vulnerability, physical vulnerability. When a man goes into orgasm, not just ejaculation, but orgasm, he is in an incredibly vulnerable state. And men are all about control. We need to be in control. We need to, because that's masculine. We need to be in charge. That's masculine. We need to be, there's this message that we can't be vulnerable. And, when a man is in a sexual orgasm or sexual or ejaculation and experiences that shock of pleasure throughout his body, he's incredibly vulnerable to that. And so I would say practicing being in a state of physical pleasure for extended periods of time through slow intercourse. And the other piece is, it's not just about the foreplay, it's about the afterplay. It's about what happens afterward. But before you even get there, it's important to understand that men's pace for sexual arousal and completion is a much quicker, much faster pace than women's pace for arousal. Women's cycle of arousal takes a lot longer. A man could be complete through his complete cycle if he's like being so quick, right? Before a woman even gets there, she's not even, it's like he's already gone and come back again before she's even gotten halfway down the block. So this is why it's really important to be attuned to your partner. Be open to their feedback. And here's the thing, right? Men are so performance oriented that our egos are very fragile around our sexuality, right? That's why guys send pictures of themselves, of their intimate parts, what do they call it? Dick pics. And these men are measuring themselves in centimeters, right? That's not the measure of their worth. It's like who you are on the inside, guys. You are more than just your penis. And women are more than just their genitals. We're more than our genitals. It's about heartfelt connection. That's an indication of a healthy intimacy. And so learning to be okay with it. Women, learning to be okay with your bodies. Allow your man to recognize the goddess within you. Asking for affirmation. Men, volunteering this affirmation of like, you are beautiful and I do love you. And spending time in connection, building that connection. Before launching into the good old in and out. And then afterward, spending time just in the presence of one another. Like women so often say, I just would like to be held afterward. Guys roll over and go to sleep. But the thing is like, that's an avoidance of intimacy. We want to continue the intimacy. Sex is not intimacy. Sex is an expression of intimacy.
That's it.
There's a big difference there.
Well said. Yes, that's a valid point that women, they have mentioned to me that when it's over, they roll over and it's done. Being in long-term marriages, if the sex shows up with the lack of intimacy, as you just defined it, David, then the woman is not going to be in the mood for you. But if you show up, as David had mentioned, rubbing her shoulders, she could be in the kitchen and you're feeling, you're feeling in the mood, you're feeling frisky. You want to be with your wife or your significant other, rub her shoulders. Bring in the sensuality to her. For a female enjoys that. She enjoys that. Well, most women do. There is a minority that can't stand touch. That surprises me, but we are all different and unique.
That's usually trauma based.
No, there are.
That's usually an aversion to touch usually means that they have a very difficult time with safety, feeling safe in their bodies and feeling safe with touch. That's usually trauma based.
Okay.
The other thing too, like I love what you're saying, and I know we have to wrap up soon. I love what you're saying. Guys, don't go straight for the genitals. Don't go straight for the breasts. You need to caress her shoulders. You do need to touch her. Caress lightly the insides of her thighs. Run your hands through her hair. Something that's intimate that you can do is, brushing your partner's hair. or maybe even drawing a
That's,
bath and washing her hair,
mm,
bathing her. That's very intimate. And
it is.
tending to her,
Mm,
letting her know that she's important and she's a priority.
yes.
Those are things. It's simple acts. It's not just throwing a bouquet of flowers in a vase and setting it on the table. Go, here you go, honey. I love
Now let's
you. Let's
go.
go make love. That's not. That doesn't say anything. It says you went
Yeah.
to the store, bought flowers, and that's that.
Mm,
Show her what you mean by that.
yeah.
Be communicative. Have
That's right.
conversations with one another.
That's
And
right.
of course, long-term relationship is about having adventures. And that means not just in the bedroom, but outside. And those
Absolutely.
kinds of shared experiences are what can build the intimacy
Absolutely.
to create a very active and healthy and exciting and pleasurable sex life.
That's right.
I hope I've answered your question, Susie.
You have beautifully. You have beautifully. And I hope this has helped answer the question. Thank you, David, for joining us today.
My
Uh,
pleasure.
we look forward to seeing you in our future video. Take care, and
You too.
I look forward. Thank you for everything, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Likewise. All right, Susie. Take care. Thanks.
I hope you gained a lot from that. You are in a safe environment here, able to show up as your authentic self. This is the beginning of your healing journey of understanding each other and yourselves. So comment, what was your aha moment? What resonated with you? And ladies, please, what questions do you want answered? Write it in the comments. I will answer each and every one of you, for it is a discussion. We're showing up here as sisters, and we will have a conversation, and we will cover everything that you desire. But I need your input. We are a tribe here. So I look forward to hearing from you. I love you all. Take care. Bye.